In this video, I'm going to show you how you guys can set up groups so that activities can be separated by blocks, by particular students, by um, levels. So if you have an academic and an honors course, you can have them working in the same activity, but they, depending on how you set it up, can or cannot see the content produced by that other group. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go to a course where we have editing rights, and we're going to go ahead and we're not going to need to turn editing on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the administration block, and I'm going to go to users, and you'll see underneath users there's groups. If I go ahead and click on groups, it's going to load a new page, and this is where we'd set up our groups. You're probably going to want to set up your groups by maybe by block or by, like I said earlier, academic, honors, or something along those lines. So the first thing we need to do is we have to create a group. I'm going to create a group and I'm going to name it Block 1. Block 1. Now, something we'll get into a little bit later on is you can actually set an enrollment key right here. You'll notice where my mouse is, so that you give this enrollment key to kids in Block 1 and they use this enrollment key to get in your course and it automatically populates them into Block 1. And you can do the same for Block 2, Block 3, Block 4, as long as you had separate enrollment keys. You obviously can't have the same enrollment key. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. And now you notice I have a group called Block 1. I'm going to also set up one more group. I'm going to name this group Block 2. And I'm going to hit Save Changes. So now I've set up my two groups and I have to add students to my groups. So for example, I'm going to add one student to each one of these. I'm going to hit right over here. I select the group that I want to add a student to, and I hit Remove, Add Remove Users, and it will load a list of all the students in my course. I'm going to add Alyssa. I simply highlight her name. If I want to add multiple people, I would just hold down my control key and I could randomly select whoever I wanted. But in this particular case, we're just going to select Alyssa and we're going to click Add. This will move her over to the Group Members tab, and now she is a member of Block 1. Excuse me. I'm going to hit Back to Groups, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing with Block 2. You'll also notice that right here next to Block 1, it shows how many people are a member of Block 1 in it. I click on Block 2. I'm going to hit Add Remove Users, and this one I'm going to add Lynn McNally. I hit Add. It adds her to Block 2. So now I've set up my two blocks, and I've set up the students in my two blocks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go to my course and I'm going to toggle between how I want the students to see the activity. So I navigate back to my course. And now I turn editing on. And as I said earlier, you can only have grouping on activities. So you'll notice right here where it says Test Forum, the second to last icon, there's just a single head. And if I hover my mouse on it, it says no groups. It also has the same thing on the chat. It has the same thing on this choice right here. But if you look up here where there's just a link to a web page, notice that icon is missing. That is because this is a resource while these are activities. You can only have groups set up on activities. So let's go ahead and set up groups. Currently right now on this test forum, there are no groups. If I click on this icon right here, the second from the last, it's going to toggle between, and now there's two heads offset of each other. And right it says separate groups. So for example, if Alyssa were to post in this forum right now, Lynn would not see what Alyssa posts, and vice versa. Alyssa wouldn't see what Lynn's posts because I've separated them out into separate groups. You can also go one more button here. If you click again, it'll say visible groups. What this does is it allows the student to actually see what the others post, but it still separates them into particular groups. This will be detailed and you can actually see how this is visually done in the next video. So that is the way that you set up groups, and it's actually a very simple process. This actually can be a very powerful tool for creating collaborative groups for students to work where they can work independently of each other or work together as a big group.